Although every year we get to experience some good or bad superhero movies, there are some that got into our head for being so boring and unamusing. The strong competition among Marvel and DC left us with some cash-in films being shown without anything nice to say about them. MovieToons presents Top 5 Disappointing Films by Marvel and DC. 5. Green Lantern. After playing Marvel heroes in disappointing films like Blade Trinity and X-Men Origins Wolverine, Reynolds switched over to DC Entertainment to bring Hal Jordan to life in this sci-fi adventure from director Martin Campbell. Unfortunately, the actor found himself trapped in perhaps the worst superhero film judging by critics. The concept of intergalactic law enforcement agency should have paved the way for escapist excitement in line with Guardians of the Galaxy, but instead, viewers were treated to a fake-looking, poorly written effort that focused on all the wrong aspects of what made Green Lantern an iconic hero. Luckily, Warner Bros. Is taking another shot with Green Lantern Corps in 2020. 4. Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi's first two Spider-Man films stand among the best superhero films ever made, and following the cliffhanger ending of Spider-Man 2, anticipation was high for what would happen in the sequel. Sadly, that excitement soon gave way to embarrassing scenes like an emo Peter Parker, a much maligned take on fan-favorite villain Venom, and a ludicrous amnesia subplot that is torn right out of cheesy soap opera. Reportedly, the film's overstuffed narrative, which features three major villains, was a product of creative differences behind the scenes, but whoever is to blame, Raimi's planned fourth film ultimately fell apart, leading Sony to reboot the character in its ill-fated The Amazing Spider-Man series. 3. Blade Trinity. In 1998, director Stephen Norrington took a B-list Marvel hero and made him a household name with Blade, the first legitimate big-screen hit based on a Marvel character. Guillermo del Toro's 2002 sequel took the character to new heights, but this third film from David S. Goyer, who wrote all three Blade films, essentially torpedoed the franchise's future. Reports have run rampant about the on-set tension between Goyer and star Wesley Snipes, and it's easy to see why, if the finished film is any indication of the creative differences. New additions like Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds don't help the matter, making the film disjointed from its predecessors, and though Blade has yet to make a return, it's just a matter of time. 2. Batman and Robin. Notorious as being one of the worst films of all time, this fourth film in the original big-screen Batman franchise armed up the silly to ridiculous levels, with Arnold Schwarzenegger's spun happy Mr. Freeze and the listless George Clooney trying desperately to hold it together. Director Joel Schumacher has since become a pariah in the comic book community for this film, which makes his devised Batman Forever look like the Citizen Kane of comic book films. The dreadful script of Batman and Robin certainly isn't helped by the subpar performances of all involved of the cartoony visuals. Thankfully, Christopher Nolan came around 8 years later and resurrected the Caped Crusader with Batman Begins and its sequels. 1. Superman 4. The Quest for Peace. After playing Superman for 3 films, Christopher Reeve returned for his 4th installment and even receives a story by credit, as the Man of Steel puts an end to nuclear weaponry across the globe. Naturally, Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, creates the embodiment of that threat, Nuclear Man Mark Pillow, and sent his new villain to battle with his archenemy. Unlike previous entries, especially the first two, Superman 4, the first and only film in the series produced by Canyon Films, lacked any of the heart or fun of the original, coming across as a lazy cash-in. Superman would subsequently mount a big-screen return in 2006, but wouldn't secure a new franchise run until 2013 release of Man of Steel. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, press subscribe button on the screen for more awesome videos.